Hi everyone, welcome to today's presentation, the continuation of my first hack. This is the part 2. So dive deep. So the objective is to gain a root access to my Quapix level 1 machine to present a mitigation technique for securing the system from privilege escalation, to also outline the process of gaining access to the system, to define and categorize different attack families. So to gain access to my Quapix level 1 machine, to begin this exercise, I started by actually as you can see, my Quapix machine and my Kali machine are up and running. So the next thing I did was to identify my IP address. So here I tried to identify the IP address of all the machines that is running on my network. And here I had my Kali machine as 192.168.56.101, while that of my Quapix machine was 192.168.56.100, and also the host machine as a 192.168.56.1. Identification of the different ports and services that are running in my system. Here I use the nmap dashport dash a command running in against my Kali machine. So this actually showed me the ports that were actually open, and I see that I am open to port 22, which is SSH, and also port 80, which is HTTP. And I equally had like the 139, which is actually the Samba, SNS Samba, which was running. So here I had to investigate further. I had to investigate further and see the ports that are also running up and running on my host machine, and also that of my Quapix machine. Here, I tried to identify the version of Samba that was running, so it could help me to gain access into my Quapix machine. Here, I used the Metasploit framework to further investigate, and in this case, I used the MSF console. So this gave me a clearer understanding of the version of Samba that was up and running, which was the 2.2.1, which I used to gain more access and more vulnerability. This is just like a continuation of the different commands that I run in my Metasploit framework. So to get more deeper, and clearer understanding of the version of Samba that is actually up and running. So gaining access to my Quapix machine, in this case, after identifying the version of Samba that was up and running, I had to use I had to use the 2.2.1 to actually get the remote code access, the remote access code, so that I could use it to modify it, or equally like I use the VI to modify the code. And in this case, I can see that my I can see that after doing everything, I could gain access to my Quapix level 1 machine. So I also did the privilege escalation. In this case, I did the privilege escalation by creating a new user with the name Lekunga, which is my last name. And here I used the command add user allow bad name Lekunga. So this allowed me to create a new user and equally give the user a root privilege as seen below. When I type the command who am I was able to see that Lekunga is actually the root user. So mitigation techniques for privilege escalations. So when securing a system from privilege escalation, several mitigation techniques can be employed. Here are some of the strategies to actually be considered. You have like limiting access right to a minimum, just as to so as to reduce that's enforcing the principle of least privilege permission. So in this case, it is important to limit the access right to a minimum so as to reduce the chance of attackers from gaining administrative privilege. Equally, patches and updates of the software, so patches and updates of the software should be done regularly to help prevent the risks of cyber attack. Equally, performing of constant vulnerability scan should also be done. So this actually a great component is going to go a long way to help identify misconfiguration, undocumented changes, and also unpatched or insecure system and other vulnerability. Continuous monitoring of the system of the network traffic and its behavior is also important. This is because when the system is continuously monitored, it helps you to identify unusual traffics, and also users' behavior can also keep attackers away. And also using the strong password policy, ensuring that the strong password policy is being implemented combined with the multi-factor authentication. This is highly effective in preventing a privilege escalation attack. And lastly, creating a security awareness training to all employees. So it is very crucial or important that all employees are being kept informed about the new threat and also security policies. So privilege escalation attacks are very serious. So it is important that incident plan should be done early enough so as to dictate any account. And once the account is being dictated or compromised, they need to be isolated quickly. So it is important that the security team should conduct an in-depth investigation to also discover the extent of any intrusion or to identify any resources that are being compromised. Looking at the taxonomies of attack families and how it is categorized, when we talk about the buffer overflow here just actually happen when a program writes more data to the buffer than it can actually hold, like causing the corruption of a memory, which can be exploited by attackers. So this is categorized under targeting operating attack that targets operating system. We also have the privilege escalation. Privilege escalation is when attackers exploit security weaknesses to gain higher level permissions and also control over the system. And it is also categorized under the target attacks that are targeting operating systems as well. We have the rootkit. With the rootkit, it's a malicious software that actually give attackers administrators level access to an endpoint, and it's difficult to dictate because it hides itself. So these are actually malware based attack. We also have the Trojans. With the Trojan is a malware that disguises itself as legitimate software. So in this case now, attackers can perform any action as legitimate users in the system. So such as like exploring, modifying, and also deleting files. So these are categorized under malware-based attack. Looking at the backdoors, when we talk about backdoors are just attacks that involve bypassing authentication mechanisms to access a system illegitimately by exploiting the vulnerability, and they are categorized under malware-based attack as well. We also have viruses. When we talk about viruses, like the computer virus is actually a type of malware that replicates itself and spreads to other parts of the system like a biological virus. So they are categorized as well under malware-based attack. We also have the return-oriented programming. When we talk about return-oriented programming here, it is a security exploit technique where attackers take control of the call stack to execute code on the target system. So they are under categorized under exploitation techniques. And lastly, we also have like the common social engineering attacks. So the social engineering attacks exploit like human psychologists to manipulate individuals into giving out sensitive informations, performing actions, or equally bypassing security measures. So they are actually categorized under social engineering attack. So thank you for your time. Here are my references for further investigation. Thank you.